This is Susan Bradley for AskWoody.com. If you're like me that you use a lot of browsers and sometimes you want to do what's called in-private browsing. So what's in private? So in private is something where you block cookies and you block settings from websites so that they can't see who you are. All of the major browsers do it. Some of them do it easier than others, and I'll show you how it's done. So first off, let me get my system tray. Normally, and this is on Windows 10 in particular, on Windows 10 you can pretty much right mouse click and see where it says New and Private Window. You can do that on Chrome. You can do it on Edge. They call it sometimes a little bit differently depending on the browser. Edge is in private. Chrome is New Incognito Window. And what it means is when it launches up, it actually blocks cookies and settings, browser settings, site data from the website. So especially if you want to search on something and you want to be a little bit more secure, launch this in private browser, and it's going to be this black look. You can also do it in Brave, but you can get there a little bit differently in Brave. In Brave, you can't, when you come down here, you notice it doesn't have the right mouse click. So what you do on Brave is you launch the browser, look on the dot 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 on that side, and you see where it says New Private Window? And Brave has two modes, New Private Window and New Private Window with Tor. And what Tor is, again, it's a bit more privacy. Your IP address is hidden. Again, it kind of blocks the cookies, things like that. So again, now websites may not like it, so you may have to play around and see which ones like it and don't. But again, if you want to be a little bit more private, this is one way to do it. Now, this is all for Windows 10. Of course, Windows 11, being the slightly different beast that it is, decides to be a little bit different. And I'm going to show you how you have to do it on Windows 11. I'm using my virtual machine here because I honestly only have one machine in the entire, under my personal supervision that can do Windows 11, and that's my Surface device. And I typically don't record from it because it's a laptop and things like that. So I have a virtual machine set up so I can play and give screenshots. So here on Windows 11, where we have that lovely centered menu, I should say, if you go into Edge and you right mouse click, it gives you the option of New in Private Window. So far, so good. Let's go over to Chrome that we pinned to the taskbar, and we don't have that option. So how do we get to that same in private? Again, launch it, dot dot dot, new window. You can also do Control-Shift-N, but I've been doing mousing for so many years that it seems weird to me to do keystrokes. Now granted, I came from the WordStar era where keystrokes was the only way we did word processing, but I have an old brain and sometimes it's hard to learn new tricks, and so I know more of the right mouse click and launch. Now there's another way you can do it. You can come out here, and especially if you've got Chrome already on the desktop, you can right mouse click, go into Properties, and actually adjust where it's going to launch. What you're going to do is you're going to take that link that you see up there and you're going to put in a space dash incognito, and that will make the shortcut on the desktop always launch in that private mode. So we're going to copy that. We're going to go back to our virtual machine, or actually in our whatever Windows 11 you have, and I'm going to make it permanently be that in private for that particular browser. And remember, we suggest that you use several browsers on your machine. Don't just have just one. Have your favorite, that is your default, and then have several others that you do other things. So the riskier the activity, the more you want to use like another browser. So always have multiple browsers on your machine. Always make sure they're set to automatically update. Have one like this that's all set to be default in private mode. and I'll show you how to do that. So here we have the application right there, and at the very end of it, we're going to do a space, dash, and then incognito, assuming I can spell it. I may have to look that up. And we want to go over here to where that quote is, put a space, dash, INCOGNITO, and hopefully we spelled it right, because if we don't, it doesn't work. So INCOGNITO. We're going to hit apply. It's going to want to request administrator rights. Click OK. And if you spelled it right and done it right, when you launch Chrome, it'll now automatically be in that private mode. So again, you may want to have a browser, multiple browsers. First off, always have multiple browsers, but you may want to have one specifically set to be more in private than the other ones. So again, this is what's called in private mode. All of the browsers do this. Most of them you can get to their Control-Shift-N, or the three dots in the corner, or like this, where you can right mouse click, go into properties, and just put dash, the keyword for private mode, on the back side. And there you have it. To be a little bit more private and a little bit more secure, pick a different browser. I just use Chrome because it happened to be, as you can see, I don't have much installed on this Windows 11 virtual machine, so pick whichever one you want. You can also even build a second shortcut on your desktop for your favorite browser. So let's say you want to do Firefox. So let's say you want to do the same thing to Firefox. Again, you can launch it. Now, once again, there's no in private with the right mouse click, so you have to launch it. And again, look for the ... and see where it says new private window. And again, you can also do Control-Shift-P. Now, there's another way to do it. And then you go to Settings, then go to Privacy and Security, and then go to the History section. And this is down there. And then you want to go down to Custom Settings, and if you want to always use in private browsing mode, you click the button right there, and we'll want to restart. And then that should be in private mode. Now mind you, when it's like this, you won't see like a dark background. So it won't look, I'll show you with it won't look like the normal setting where it's a dark background. So this is how it looks like if you go into a new private window with a default Firefox. So when you set it up to always be in private mode, it won't look like this. So just be aware that when you set up Firefox in default private mode, it will just be that normal white background. But again, that might be something that you want to do. So play around with these settings. You know you can always undo these settings. It's not a problem at all to undo any of these settings. And just see how you like browsing with it. Does it change how you interact with websites? Does it make you feel more secure? Again, choose different browsers. Always consider that you can always close things out. Always launch a browser. Always come up here and either hit Control-Shift-P pretty much on any browser, or look for this option that says New Private Window and see what browsing a little bit more private feels like. Until next time, this is Susan Bradley for AskWoody.com.